Rain fell hard against the bus shelter on 63rd and Housestead. Mara Jensen stood with her paper cup of gas station coffee, her uniform still damp from her shift at St. Emery's Hospital. She had pulled a double 12 hours attending to people who cursed, cried, or ignored her. She was used to being invisible. A man sat slumped on the bench beside her. His clothes were soaked, his eyes bloodshot. He held a grocery bag like it carried the last of his life. When the bus pulled up, he didn't move. The driver waited, impatient. Mara stepped forward. "Sir, this is your stop." He stared blankly. She saw the tremor in his hands. Withdrawal, she thought. She touched his shoulder. "You'll catch pneumonia out here." He muttered, "Leave me alone." The bus driver honked. Mara made a decision she would regret and defend in equal measure. She helped him up and guided him inside, paying both fares. By the time they reached downtown, he was asleep against a window. She left him her umbrella and her hospital sandwich, then got off 2 stops early to walk home. Her coworker, Janelle, texted later, "You're crazy helping people like that in this city." Mara replied, "Someone should." Janelle answered, "Someone's gonna rob you blind one day." The message lingered longer than Mara wanted to admit. 2 days later, a security clip from the hospital went viral. It showed Mara slipping cash into an old patient's coat pocket. The caption on a local gossip account read, "Nurse caught bribing patient for good review. By afternoon, her supervisor called her in." "We received complaints," he said, voice cold. Hospital policy forbids staff from giving money or gifts to patients. Mara explained that the patient, a retired veteran, couldn't afford his medication. She had paid for it out of pocket. "That's not the point," he said. "You broke protocol. People think you were manipulating satisfaction scores." Within a day, HR put her on unpaid leave pending investigation. Outside the hospital entrance, reporters waited. One called out, "Did you do it for attention?" Another shouted, "Is this part of your brand?" Mara walked past him without answering. At the corner of the street, she saw the same man from the bus cleaner now, wearing a donated coat. He nodded at her, grateful. She forced a smile. That night, her landlord taped a late notice on her door. Her brother, Eric, called from Phoenix. "You keep getting burned trying to help people," he said. "You think kindness fixes the world. It doesn't. It drains you." Mara hung up without replying. 2 weeks later, the hospital investigation leaked online. A blog post claimed Mara was connected to a charity scam run by a homeless man she befriended. The photo attached showed the man from the bus Marcus, Dale, standing near a known outreach shelter accused of pocketing donations. The post spread fast. Her social accounts filled with hate messages. "Stop pretending to be a saint. You nurses think you're better than everyone." Someone spray-painted "Fake Angel" on her apartment door. Mara went to the shelter to confront Marcus. He was sorting blankets, head lowered. "Why would they say you're part of that scam?" she asked. He sighed. "Because I was." She froze. "I used to run errands for the guy who took the money," he said. "I got out after I met you. You're the only person who treated me like I mattered. So you're saying I'm losing my job because of you?" He nodded. "I'm sorry. I told him you didn't know anything." Mara walked out trembling. Her kindness had tied her name to a criminal. At home, she found a letter from the hospital's board. Termination effective immediately. She sat in silence until her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "If you're done being a martyr, meet me tomorrow 8 a.m., 524 Westlake." The address led to a half-renovated office building downtown. Inside, a woman in a gray suit waited behind a folding table. "Ms. Jensen," she said. "I'm Detective Sloan. You were seen interacting with Marcus Dale, correct?" Mara nodded. "He came forward. Claims he's ready to testify against the people who ran that charity front. He says you convinced him to." "I didn't," Mara said. The detective studied her. "Doesn't matter. They think you did, which means they'll come for you too." That night, someone broke her window. She spent the next day at a motel. Marcus called. "They're watching you. You need to leave town." "I'm done hiding," she said. If my kindness caused this, I'll finish it. She met the detective again, agreed to testify, and helped identify the fake charity operators. News broke days later. Hospital nurse exposes donation fraud ring. Her name trended again, but this time, opinions split. Some called her brave. Others said she set it up to look like redemption. At the press conference, a reporter asked, "Do you regret helping that man?" Mara hesitated. "No. I regret living in a place where helping someone costs you your life." Months later, the trial ended. The fraud ringleaders were sentenced. Marcus entered rehab under witness protection. Mara took a job at a small community clinic in Bronzeville. The pay was low, the patients poor, but the work was quiet. One evening, a woman came in with her son, both bruised from a domestic dispute. Mara treated them, then offered her coat to the mother when she left. The woman said, "You're that nurse from TV, aren't you?" Mara looked away. "Does it matter?" The woman nodded slowly. "It does. You gave people like me permission to trust again." When they left, Mara stood by the clinic window watching the street lights flicker on. The city still looked cold, still unforgiving. But she felt something shift, a quiet proof that kindness had weight, even when the world mocked it. Across town, Detective Sloan read a report. The hospital board had quietly reinstated Mara's license after public pressure. She smiled and closed the file. At the same moment, a teenage volunteer at the shelter taped a note on the bulletin board. It read, "Kindness isn't weakness. It's resistance. Moral resolution the city didn't change." The internet still judged. But people remembered her story when they passed someone in need. Some turned away faster. Some stopped, thinking twice. In a world that rewarded cruelty, one nurse's loss became a mirror for everyone else's fear of compassion. Mara Jensen never reclaimed her old life. She built a new one where kindness was no longer an act of faith, but a form of defiance. The world stayed harsh. She stayed kind.